Dr. Mira Kane stood at the observation deck of the event horizon, staring at the abyss beyond. Two black holes, massive and ancient, swirled in a deadly dance, their immense gravitational pull warping the space around them. It was awe-inspiring, yet ominous. The binary system they orbited was unlike any she had ever encountered. The gravitational waves alone were powerful enough to shake planets apart. But something felt wrong. This wasn't just a natural occurrence. Something else was at play. Picking up those energy signatures again, Ryland's voice came through her earpiece. He was the ship's AI technician, responsible for maintaining their systems and decrypting the reams of data they gathered. His voice had a curious edge, as if he couldn't quite believe the numbers on his screen. Mira tore her eyes away from the swirling black masses and moved to the command center. The Event Horizon was a state-of-the-art research vessel, its sole purpose to explore extreme astrophysical phenomena. But their current mission had taken them farther than anyone had ever been, beyond the rim of the Milky Way, deep into the void where light was rare and matter even rarer. "Show me," she said, standing behind Ryland's station. He pulled up the data. Faint energy pulses appeared on the screen, rippling out from the black holes. "These aren't natural," Ryland said, shaking his head. "I've run the analysis 3 times. It's some kind of signal, but encoded." Mira's pulse quickened. "Alien? Possibly. I've never seen anything like it." The research mission had been straightforward: observe the binary black hole system, collect gravitational wave data, and return to Earth with findings. But the moment they arrived, Mira had sensed there was more to this system than the scientific community back home suspected. The energy pulses had only deepened that suspicion. "What if it's a warning?" said Dr. Una Mori, the ship's quantum physicist. She had been studying the system's quantum field fluctuations, and her face looked paler than usual. "If something out here is artificially manipulating black holes, we could be in serious danger." Mira glanced at the holographic display of the system. The black holes were set to collide within days, an event that would send gravitational waves surging across the universe. It was supposed to be a rare, naturally occurring phenomenon. But if this collision was being engineered, the consequences could be far greater, and far deadlier. "Let's not jump to conclusions," Mira said, though her gut told her Una wasn't far off. "We need more data." "I've been running scans on those energy pulses," Ryland added, "and I found something else. There's a derelict station orbiting the outer edge of the black hole's event horizon." Mira froze. "A station?" Ryland nodded, pulling up a distorted image. The station was ancient, its metallic surface pocked with asteroid impacts and cosmic wear. Its architecture was alien, with strange spires and curved structures that defied human engineering logic. More troubling was its location. How could anything survive so close to the event horizon of a black hole? "What do you think?" Ryland asked. "Could this be what's controlling the black holes?" Mira's mind raced. If the station was indeed alien, and if it was somehow connected to the energy signatures they were detecting, it could mean that this black hole collision wasn't a natural event, it was a deliberate act. But why? "We need to investigate that station," Mira said firmly, her voice steely with determination. "Prep the shuttle. I'm going down there." Una shot her a look of concern. "Mira, the gravitational forces near that event horizon, if anything goes wrong." "I know the risks," Mira interrupted. "But if there's a chance we're dealing with an artificial manipulation of these black holes, we need to understand it before the collision happens. This could be bigger than anything we've ever discovered." Galen Orris, their ex-military pilot, entered the room, having overheard the conversation. "I'll get the shuttle ready. But if I'm flying us that close to the event horizon, we're going in hot and coming out fast." Mira gave a curt nod. "Understood." As they prepared to depart, the gravity of the situation weighed heavily on Mira. The energy signatures, the ancient station, the impending collision, it all pointed to something larger, something dangerous. Whatever they were about to uncover on that station could change everything they knew about black holes, about the universe itself. But as the shuttle bay doors hissed open, Mira couldn't shake the feeling that they were being drawn into something far beyond their control. Like moths to a flame, they were being pulled toward the singularity, unable to resist the unseen pull of what lay ahead. The shuttle descended toward the derelict station, the black holes looming like twin titans in the background. Galen expertly piloted them through the turbulent gravitational forces, his knuckles white on the controls. Mira watched the reading spike wildly. Gravity was shifting unpredictably as they approached the event horizon, threatening to tear the ship apart if they lingered too long. "Hold steady," she said, her eyes fixed on the alien station ahead. Its spires rose jaggedly, piercing the dark sky. No human construction could survive in this environment. Whoever built this, Mira thought, had knowledge far beyond their own. Una sat beside her, scanning the structure. "The material composition is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's resisting the gravitational pull like it's immune to it." Rylan, strapped into the back, was already working to connect to the station systems. "I'm picking up an internal power source. Barely functioning, but it's there." As they neared the docking bay, the shuttle lurched violently, nearly throwing them off course. Galen cursed under his breath, wrestling with the controls. "We don't have much time here. Get what you need and let's get out." The shuttle clamped onto the station, the docking mechanism struggling to engage. Mira exhaled sharply. "Let's move." The airlock opened, and the crew stepped into the dark, frigid corridor. The station was eerily silent, save for the faint hum of machinery barely clinging to life. Dim lights flickered, casting shadows along the metallic walls. The architecture was strange, organic yet technological, as if grown rather than built. "This place is ancient," Una whispered, her voice echoing in the vast hall. "But functional. I wonder how long it's been here." Mira approached what appeared to be a control panel, its surface covered in strange symbols and glyphs. "Rylan, see if you can access their systems." Rylan moved swiftly, pulling out his tools to interface with the alien technology. As he worked, the station's lights began to flicker more steadily, and a low rumble reverberated through the floor. "I'm in," Rylan said, his eyes scanning lines of alien code. "This isn't just a research station. It's a control hub. Something is linked directly to those black holes." Mira's heart pounded. "Linked how?" Rylan hesitated, processing the data. "The station is manipulating the gravitational forces between the black holes, guiding them toward a collision. This isn't a natural event, it's engineered." Una's face paled. "But why? What could they possibly gain from causing a black hole collision?" Rylan's fingers flew over the console. "I'm accessing deeper files now. There's something called the Singularity Protocol. It's written in a hybrid code of alien symbols and basic quantum equations. This protocol appears to control the final phase of the collision. Once the black holes merge, they'll open a singularity unlike anything we've ever seen, a gateway, or a weapon." "A weapon?" Galen growled. "What kind of weapon uses black holes?" Mira's mind raced. If the black holes were being controlled, then this wasn't just an accidental discovery, it was deliberate. And if the Singularity Protocol triggered something when the collision happened, the implications could be catastrophic. "We're not just dealing with a natural cosmic event," she said quietly. "This is a construct, something far beyond what we understand. Whoever built this was trying to harness the power of black holes for something much bigger." Una knelt beside one of the alien consoles, her fingers brushing the strange glyphs. "This civilization must have collapsed before they could complete whatever they started. But if the protocol is still active—" Rylan interrupted, his face grim. "There's more. The station has been transmitting signals across vast distances, messages that I think are meant for another civilization. There's a chance that the black hole collision isn't just meant to open a gateway, it might be a summons. Mira stiffened. A summons? To who? I don't know, Rylan replied, frustration edging his voice. But we're running out of time. The gravitational forces are growing unstable, and the protocol is set to activate when the black holes collide. We need to decide, do we stop this, or let it play out? Silence filled the room as Mira weighed their options. If they stopped the protocol, they could save the Milky Way from the unknown consequences of the black hole collision. But if they allowed it to happen, they might unlock a power, and a knowledge, that could alter the course of human history. We don't fully understand what we're dealing with, Mira said finally. But if this station was designed to control the singularity, then stopping it might be beyond our reach. Galen looked at her sharply. You're saying we let it happen? I'm saying, Mira replied, her voice calm but determined, we need more information before we make that call. Let's get back to the ship and figure out what our next move is. As they made their way back to the shuttle, the station's hum grew louder, a signal that time was running out. The event horizon shuddered violently as the gravity waves intensified. Mira gripped the edge of the command console, watching the black holes on the main display spiral closer together. Their collision was imminent, and the Singularity Protocol was in full motion. They had returned to the ship just in time, but now the real danger was upon them. We're caught in the gravitational field, Galen reported, his hands flying over the controls. His voice was tense. I'm struggling to keep us stable. If we don't move soon, we'll be pulled into the event horizon. Mira's mind was racing. The data from the alien station confirmed what they had feared, the collision was engineered, designed to trigger a cosmic event that would ripple through the galaxy. But the question remained, was this a weapon, or something far more complex? We need to find a way out of this gravitational well, Una said, trying to keep her voice steady as she analyzed the readings. But the closer the black holes get, the more distorted time and space become. It's not just gravity we're fighting, reality itself is bending. As if to punctuate her point, the ship's sensors flickered erratically, showing impossible readings. Objects appeared to stretch and twist, distant stars bending around them like liquid. Mira blinked, disoriented. Time was beginning to distort around them, faster and slower at intervals that defied logic. Rylan, can you pull up the station's transmissions? Mira asked. They needed answers, and fast. Rylan tapped into the alien code again, his brow furrowed in concentration. I'm decoding it, but the language is fragmented. There's mention of the singularity being a gateway, a bridge between universes. But the technology, it's incomplete. If the black holes emerge before the protocol stabilizes, it could tear apart spacetime, creating uncontrolled fractures. Mira took a sharp breath. So this isn't just a weapon. It's a doorway. Exactly, Rylan nodded. And we're standing on the edge of it. The ship groaned under the strain, and suddenly, a ripple shot through the cabin. For a brief, disorienting moment, Mira saw flashes of a different version of herself, standing in a different control room, on a different ship. It lasted only a second, but it left her heart pounding. What was that? Galen demanded, eyes wide. Temporal anomalies, Una said, her voice shaken. The closer we get to the event horizon, the more fractured time becomes. We might be seeing alternate realities, alternate versions of ourselves. Mira steadied herself. She had felt it, another version of her life, one where she had made different choices. In that moment, she realized the black holes were not just a physical danger, they were warping time itself, showing them possible futures, other lives they could have lived. We can't stay here much longer, Galen urged, his tone sharp. Either we find a way to stop this, or we get pulled into whatever hell is waiting at the center. Mira's gaze drifted to the holographic display of the black holes. They were spinning faster, their gravitational forces consuming everything in their path. She felt the pull, not just of the physical gravity but of the mystery itself. This was the edge of the universe, the precipice of discovery. Whatever lay beyond that collision could change everything. But at what cost? "We're running out of time," Rylan warned, his fingers dancing over the console. "The protocol will trigger in minutes. If we don't act now, the singularity will form, and we'll be too close to escape." Yuna's face was pale as she turned to Mira. "If the singularity forms and we're caught in it, there's no telling what will happen. We could be torn apart, or thrown into another universe. We might not survive." Mira closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of the decision on her shoulders. If they stopped the protocol, they could prevent unimaginable destruction. But if they let it unfold, they might witness the opening of a gateway to another reality, a discovery beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. She opened her eyes, her decision made. "We need to try to stop it. We can't risk destabilizing the entire galaxy." "Agreed," Rylan said, already working on a solution. "But we'll need to get close to the station again. I'll attempt to disable the protocol remotely." "Galen, take us back," Mira ordered. "We have to shut this down before it's too late." As the ship turned back toward the derelict station, the gravitational forces tightened their grip, and the black holes roared like beasts ready to consume everything in their path. Myra's heart raced, knowing this could be their last chance to prevent a disaster on a galactic scale. As they raced toward the alien structure, the ship shook violently, and reality itself seemed to twist around them. The stars blurred, time dilated, and the universe wept as the singularity neared completion. There was no turning back now. The event horizon hurtled toward the alien station, the ship's hull groaning as gravitational waves crashed against it like violent tides. Mira stood at the helm, her knuckles white as she gripped the console. The black holes spiraled ever closer, their immense pull distorting the very fabric of space around them. "We're nearing critical proximity," Galen shouted over the roar of the ship's engines. "If we don't shut that protocol down in the next few minutes, we're toast." Rylan worked furiously at his station, his face lit by the flickering code on the screen. "I'm trying to hack into the station's systems, but the encryption is beyond anything I've ever seen. Whoever built this wasn't just advanced, they were playing with forces we barely understand." Yuna stood beside him, her face pale but focused. "We've already seen how the black holes are warping time and space. If we don't stop the protocol, the collision could create a rift between dimensions, a tear that could consume everything nearby." Mira swallowed hard, her mind racing. The station was still transmitting signals, broadcasting a message across the cosmos, but the deeper they dug into the code, the more they realized this wasn't a warning, it was an invitation. Something, or someone, wanted this singularity to form. "Can we deactivate the protocol from here?" Mira asked, her voice tight with urgency. Rylan's fingers flew across the console. "I'm working on it, but the system is fighting me. There's a failsafe, something meant to protect the singularity from being shut down." "What kind of failsafe?" Galen asked, his eyes narrowing. "A self-destruct mechanism. If we try to force a shutdown, the station could implode, sending us all straight into the black holes." Mira felt the weight of the decision pressing on her. Time was running out. The black holes were moments away from merging, and the gravitational distortions were growing worse. The ship's systems flickered, alarms blaring as the proximity warnings reached critical levels. "We have to do this manually," Mira said, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "We need to get inside the station and disable the protocol ourselves." Galen looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "You can't be serious. The closer we get to those black holes, the more unstable things become. There's no guarantee we'll even make it back." "We don't have a choice," Mira said firmly. "If we don't stop this, the entire galaxy could be at risk. We have to take that chance." Galen gritted his teeth but nodded. "All right, then. I'll take us as close as I can." The ship shuddered as Galen brought it alongside the station once more, the gravitational forces bending space so violently that the stars outside the viewport stretched into long, thin lines. Time itself seemed to slow, each second dragging as if caught in the gravitational grip of the black holes. Mira led the team back into the station, their movements slow and deliberate as they navigated the twisting corridors. The air inside was stale, cold, as if the station had been abandoned for centuries. But the machinery still hummed with life, driven by an ancient power source. They reached the central control room, where the core of the protocol pulsed with a soft, ominous light. Alien glyphs scrolled across the screens, indecipherable to the human eye. But the meaning was clear: this was the heart of the system, the point of no return. "Rylan, get to work," Mira said, her voice tense. Rylan immediately set to work, interfacing his system with the alien console. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he worked against time, bypassing layer after layer of security. "I'm almost there. Just a few more." The station suddenly shook, the black holes roaring like titans in battle. The collision was imminent. "Hurry!" Una cried, her eyes wide with fear. "I'm in!" Rylan shouted, and the screens flickered, the glyphs slowing to a halt. "I've disabled the protocol." For a moment, everything was still. The black holes continued their deadly dance outside, but the station itself was silent, its purpose halted. But then, an alarm blared, loud and deafening. "Rylan, what's happening?" Mira demanded, her heart pounding. Rylan's face turned ashen. "The failsafe, it's triggering the station's self-destruct. The black holes are too close. If this thing blows, it'll throw us straight into the singularity." Mira's blood ran cold. They had only moments to escape. "Galen, get the shuttle ready. We need to go now." The team raced back through the station, the walls trembling as the self-destruct countdown began. The gravitational distortions made every step feel like wading through thick water, time and space twisting around them. They barely made it to the shuttle as the station's core overloaded, its metallic walls crumpling under the pressure of the black hole's pull. Galen fired the engines at full thrust, launching them away from the station just as it collapsed into itself. Behind them, the black holes merged, and for an instant, there was silence, pure, infinite silence. Then, a burst of light, brighter than anything they had ever seen, as the singularity formed. Mira watched in awe and terror as the gateway opened, a rift between worlds, shimmering with possibilities. They had stopped the protocol, but the singularity had still been born. What lay on the other side was unknown. But one thing was certain: the universe would never be the same again.